And welcome back to the Xfinity Desk. One more time here, Elamite joined by T Squared at the desk. We saw some crazy matches, interesting series play out. We've talked about all the drama involved, all
wild,
of the
wild
stories.
west out here, man. It's crazy.
It really, really is. And we do have more exciting matches in store for tonight. Our next one is going to be the Evil Geniuses' new lineup. Lunchbox, Roy, of course, Victory X, and Ninja going up against the new
and Ninja, yeah,
going up against the new team.
Ninja's a big name, can't forget him. And also Ogre 2, the analyst for this squad. Greatest player of all time, most winningest player of all time. He's sitting there looking at your strategy. So in my opinion, advantage going over to Evil Geniuses. Keep in mind that these guys did not make it into the playoffs last year. They fell just short to Ninja's team. C9 snuck in there, and you can see the lineup. There they are. Yeah, those are twin brothers. They do the same exact pose in their pictures as well. And then you have two guys that could be brothers as well. Look at the Ninja and Victory X. So
they look more alike than Lunchbox and Roy do, I think.
They do. They do. I would say that there's always one team that looks like a boy band. I'm going to give it to Evil Geniuses.
I could agree with that. Definitely Evil Geniuses is the new Halo boy band. We said it here right from T Squared's mouth. Now, we've talked about Evil Geniuses a good amount here so far, both in the pregame show and what we've just discussed now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other side. We've got Team Allegiance. Now, this is going to be the duo of Contra and Predevinator, and they've had a lot of success here in Halo 5, although they did not make it to finals. Now, we do have the newest member joining the HCS Pro League, and that is going to be in Falcated. As you can see, he is not actually a human, but a Spartan in himself. Now, taking a look at some of the stats here, of course, they did a great job before, and Falcated going a little bit more in depth onto him and where he came from. I had a chance to talk with him this week as well, and he's been playing Halo like one of the OGs essentially. He said it was big in his family, even his uncles all loved it. And at age 3-4 range, he couldn't give me an exact answer, so I rounded up. But he has been playing or involved in Halo since the age of 4.
Since his very first memory, he came out of the womb in the Master Chief costume. So the one thing that I'm worried about for the side of Allegiance when I look at this squad and just know these players personally from playing against them and playing with them is their communication, right? Shooter is a good communicator. He's probably the best communicator on that team. What is he going to be able to teach these guys communication-wise? Alumni used to coach Devin and Contra, probably taught him what he knows about communication as well, but that's the one weakness that I see from this team is the communication and the objective work. If they can master those two things, they have the shots, they have the individual skill, we could see them potentially, moving out of that 5th and 6th area into the top 4 where they feel like they belong.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what these guys can do here because Shooter, in my opinion, outside of CLG, Shooter had the best tournament at finals out of any other player in the league. I thought he played phenomenally the entire tournament, even in his matchup against Counterlogic Gaming where they fell quite short. He was still playing really well. I think he's a perfect fit onto this team. He's one of those players that can go on to multiple different lineups and fill whatever needs to be done.
Yeah, he's underrated. He does the dirty work. He's, very similar to, let's say, how Heinz played or even how you played, where you'd go in and whatever it is, whatever stats don't matter, just go in and get the job done. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your life and knowing, when to challenge, when not to challenge. So definitely really impressed with Shooter. This lineup's pretty young as well. They're a little bit younger than the other teams, especially against the team that they're playing against, Evil Geniuses, who, Victory X has been doing this thing since 2005, as well as Lunchbox and Roy. So, these guys were on the verge of getting the senior discount over at the local diner. So it's pretty interesting to see the age difference here. But with that, they don't lack any experience on the side of Evil Geniuses. So it's kind of the young guns going up against the old dogs here.
You're exactly correct. I mean, we talked about it before. This Evil Geniuses lineup is hands down the most experienced team now that we have in the league. You've got the twins, Lunchbox and Roy, starting off in 2007 on Team 5K. Of course, Victory X, like we mentioned, 2005. 04, 05 days, I remember us playing online before we had ever been to a tournament together, and we just kind of partied up because we were both, fairly good at the game, and we were one of those make our own online team, and that's how I started playing. That's how I met Victory for the first time as well, and it's always awesome putting those faces to player names when you see them online.
FBI Agency is the original team with Tupac and Slim in Macchio. That's where Victory X got his start and still doing his thing. We talk about Shooter being one of the most underrated players. Victory X, known as probably one of the most underrated players of all of Halo history. So this is definitely going to be an interesting series. Not expecting a 3-0 or 3-1. Really hoping that this one goes to all 5 games.
And just to correct you, the FBI Michigan.
FBI Michigan. And then you guys turned into the agency.
And then the agency after that. That's correct. So, of course, we're all looking at Strongholds on the Empire. This is another Strongholds game type. 100 points to win. We've got the Saw. We've got the Overshield spawning outside of the map. And essentially, this is one of the fastest paced games that we have here in Halo 5.
I play a lot with Ninja, and Ninja really likes this game type. He is probably one of the people that understands this game type the most and is able to relay over towards his teammates what he wants them to do. However, with that being said, again, the meta hasn't changed for this game type. It's all about getting over towards the pit, getting control of the pit, and that's why you're seeing these players jock for that position right now.
And look, it looks like Allegiance didn't, in fact, elect to go for their initial beginning hill, and that is now them finally trying to start capturing that. Still over 30 seconds into the game, and we just had our first stronghold be taken.
Interestingly enough, it was both of the side bases, so not capturing your side base comes to bite you in a little bit of a in the butt here. And yeah, so you can see Victory X over here trying to take the pit. Now this is good for Evil Geniuses, even though they don't have the side bases there. They do. They get the side bases now. So a nice job by Evil Geniuses, not panicking, making sure that their priority was getting the pit. However, Devin getting a big kill is going to be able to help the rest of Allegiance go over towards the pit. And Contra over here with the flank over onto Roy. That's going to be Shooter picking up that grenade kill. However, it looks like the rest of everybody on the side of EG is making their way back towards the pit.
And great shots by Predevinator there. Picks up a kill. I believe that was on Victory here. Ninja does secure the capture for the bottom mid pit, but with those 2 members dying and so many members of Allegiance stacking that hill, it's quickly going back in their favor.
Yeah, that's one of the keys, is not to panic once you give up that pit, because most of the time when they do give up the pit, it takes a lot of resources for the other team, and they're pretty weak, so they capitalized on that. And this is a really good time to control the pit because the overshield's coming up, and the overshield has been moved from the pit to outside. So if you can control outside area, it puts these guys on EG in a really awkward position if whether they want to capture the pit or make their way towards outside. Looks like Lunchbox isn't on the same page with whoever's going for the overshield. Not a good play coming out from Lunchbox. He needed to work outside with Victory X on securing that overshield. Now Victory X has to overextend because of what happened, and it looks like Roy's left by himself over here with Ninja, actually, so he's not by himself trying to secure this overshield. Ninja picking up 2 kills. Devin cleans him up with the Saw, and this is it for Lunchbox. If he's able to get this one, I think he is. So Lunchbox picking up that overshield around the 43 mark. That's going to really help out Evil Geniuses, but they are losing slowly and surely, and that's a green gun coming out from the side of Falcated. Nice job from Falcated.
That was a great heads-up play by him. He waited, took his time on that plasma pistol shot, drained all of Lunchbox's overshield, and in fact picked up the kill as well. Falcated doing a great job of using that radar to his advantage.
While that was happening, even though he did lose the overshield, Evil Geniuses was able to secure the pit, so now it's up to Allegiance to decide what exactly they want to do. I like this slow play coming out from Shooter. Uses the radar to his advantage, gets the kill, now picks up the double. Potential triple kill coming out here. Is he going to be able to pick it up? An assault rifle triple kill. Possible overkill coming out from Shooter. There it is. He's looking for more. Is he going to be able to get the kill attack? He decides he wants to go for it, and then he does get the pit at the same time. So we're just talking about Shooter having the tournament of his life in the summer finals, and he's coming out here hot with the overkill against Evil Geniuses.
Great plays by him. He knows exactly what needs to be done in certain situations, and he played that perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what you want to do. You want to just not overextend until you get the pick, and then you know that they're going to be going and spawning on the opposite side. So all you have to do is slow play it and watch the pit. It takes, a couple of seconds for them to be able to capture it, and all you got to do is contest and hold that area of the map down. Everyone's just flooding in towards the pit. It looks like Evil Geniuses is able to do so, so curious to see where everyone on Allegiance was stacked up. That's a nice job coming out from EG. That's one of the most difficult hills in all of Halo 5 to retake, and and they were able to do so without any power weapons or power-ups, Kyle.
And Victory X, it's cool seeing him with the Lunchbox and Roy twins again, as he actually teamed with them back in early 2008, and they got second place when they in fact teamed for the one event that they did. So Victory X is a great player, and no shields, awesome ground pound, picks up a reversal, although not enough to maintain control here for EG.
Overshield's coming up really shortly here. Ninja's waiting for that one, so let's see what he's able to do. He does pick it up, making his way over towards blue. This is a nice aggressive play. He needs his teammates to collapse, though. Maybe a little bit too aggressive coming out from Ninja. Does get a trade here. However, Shooter is able to finish him off, and it looks like they get aggressive on this side base. They do need to capture this because of the fact that Allegiance does have both side bases. However, once you go and commit to that side base, you leave the pit open, and Allegiance takes advantage of that. So poor play coming out, poor rotations coming out from EG, and Allegiance is going to punish him for that.
Yeah, Lunchbox saw it, or before Lunchbox actually even jumped into the base window, you could see the pit start to be captured. Now, what he didn't know is he had two members in the base. He did not need to go there, and he needed to be contesting that bottom mid pit area, and he, in fact, made a little bit of a mishap there.
Lunchbox being the third wheel, man. Come on, dude. Three's a crowd, don't you know that? Go into the pit and spread out. But, yeah, that was a big play. That could have been the backbreaker there, because this is a very, again, it's very, very hard to take back that pit. It takes a mistake like that for another team to capitalize that, and if Allegiance doesn't make any more mistakes, it's going to be really hard. As I'm saying that, it looks like EG is able to get the pit again, so that's the mistake that Devin made by not going in there and contesting. He was a sliver too late, and they are able to retake it. So back and forth there, and I've never seen the pit go back and forth 3 times in a row in about 15 seconds. Let's see if it's possible. EG trying to capture this one. They need it desperately, and they get it.
And this is a decent lead now for Allegiance. Another great kill by Predevinator, picking up a trade there. Now, nobody in position from Allegiance to start capturing this hill. Several members down. I like this play from Roy. He knows there's a player over here by this tower, and he knows the new saw is coming up. Just waiting patiently, taking his time. Looks like Lunchbox was trying to focus on that red base, but he was by himself, had no cover. Now with Lunchbox falling, and now Victory X falling at blue base as well, that was a perfect opportunity for Allegiance to set up. But as you could see in the player cams as well, or the player outlines, Lunchbox picked up that spawn in the base, and they prevented that from being captured.
Yeah, it looks like Roy's going to be the one to pick up this overshield. This doesn't have any help, though. Someone needs to be outside to get him, and Shooter kills Roy, and that's interesting because Roy passed up the opportunity to pick up that saw, so that cost him the overshield in the long run, and Falcade going outside. That's a triple cap coming out from the side of Allegiance. Yeah, Evil Geniuses is going to be able to capture red and stop the bleeding, but they're only about 20 points away from walking away with this one, which means they only have about 2 pushes. So this is their one push right now. They do have a numbers advantage. Let's see if Lunchbox is going to be able to kill Shooter. He does with the help of his twin brother Roy, and now this is their opportunity to push over there towards the pit.
When they are starting to capture this one, you have a player on Allegiance trying to contest.
Falcated.
He actually picks up 1 kill, and they end up getting the reset as well. So a fantastic job by Allegiance, slowly building up this lead. They're almost hitting that 90-point mark. It has to be perfect Halo from here on out for Evil Geniuses if they expect to win Game 1.
They only have 1 more push, and all those little mistakes really come to bite you in the butt in the long run. And this is, even if they were able to take the pit, they still do have to play perfectly to make sure that they control it the entire time. Victory X picking up a couple kills. It's now up to Lunchbox to get it, and he does get the pit. So this is the opportunity. They can't afford to give up the pit even one more time. Contra getting the best of Lunchbox, putting down some help from the red base window. Looks like he has another player in there trying to contest the red base, but no, the help coming out. Falcated going into the pit as well, and they can continue to just hold these side bases. That's a triple cap coming out. That's going to be game. They're not going to be able to capture both of these at the same time. Victory X trying to flood in towards the pit, and that is it. Evil Geniuses falling to Allegiance in the very first game of our best of 5.
And taking a look at some of the stats here, pretty consistent across the board here as far as total overall kills. You had Shooter leading the pack for Allegiance. We gave him some love already. On the other end, Evil Geniuses, we watched a lot of Lunchbox that series, sitting at 11 kills, and it really seemed Lunchbox more than any other player would just commit or challenge to the death each time.
Yeah, he wasn't on the same page. Lunchbox wasn't on the same page. He's known as a very aggressive player. Sometimes a little too aggressive. You need to dial that back a little bit. Yeah, this game type is very fast moving. It's very fast paced, but we saw a couple misplays coming out from him, mainly on that side base when he could have contested the pit, and all those little small things really add up in the end.
You're absolutely correct. The team that makes the least amount of mistakes will go ahead and win a series. And Allegiance, new lineup, something we don't really know what to expect out of these guys. But from what we've just seen, they are sitting strong. And we gave Shooter love about finals and exactly how well he did. But he hasn't missed a beat either. He is absolutely playing well. I loved what we saw from him out of that game. His ability to slow it down, play passive, and then the overkill even as well. So great overall play by him.
I just want to touch base on a couple more of the misplays there. When we saw in the replay, that was a great replay because we saw Roy sitting outside for that overshield, and he had 3 people sitting outside total. When you include him, he had 2 other teammates out there. Both of those teammates went in towards red or towards the pit and towards tower side, but no one watched blue side. And then Shooter came around the corner with the saw that Roy turned down and didn't pick up. Remember, he was sitting there bottom tower crouching and elected to go over towards the pit, make his way towards outside. If he would have just grabbed that, he would have secured the overshield or maybe even had a teammate watch the side. So that was another big misplay coming out from EG. I think if they were able to minimize even half of those with those 2, like Lunchbox not making that mistake, Roy not making that mistake, if they would have just not made that mistake, I think that it would have been a lot favorable for Evil Geniuses. And when one person makes a mistake in Empire Strongholds, the game type's so fast that it just snowballs so quickly.
Right, and when one player makes a mistake, it might inadvertently
chain reaction.
Have one of your teammates die because of what they did. For example, would be the difference between, like as Tom pointed out, setting up for that overshield. What we saw from Optic Gaming when they were setting up for that overshield was you had Royal 2 staring at Snakebite, making sure that angle was cut off and that he was supporting him the best possible. On the flip side, you had essentially 3 members of Evil Geniuses staring towards red base, not watching their back and not setting up and helping Roy actually grab that overshield. And with him dying there, that takes him out of the game for almost 10 seconds, and that puts that overshield up for contesting, and it can completely change 30, 45 minute of the game and what ultimately happens going forward.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what maps were actually picked and vetoed moving forward, because of the fact that I thought that Evil Geniuses had a pretty, good opportunity there. I would have gave them the advantage in that game type based on, Ninja and how strong he was. Ninja did perform. However, we saw Lunchbox in the stats not really holding his weight when it came to the slays. But there you have it. There's the ban phase. The rig getting banned from Allegiance, then Regret going for Evil Geniuses. And again, Kyle, this is one of the things where I asked L-Town, hey, what are your strengths and weaknesses? He said he didn't want to give it away. But hey, guys, we're giving it away right now. These are the team's strengths and weaknesses. Write it down.
Absolutely. Now, that game played out a little bit differently than I was expecting, but of course, this is week 1, day 1 of the HCS Pro League fall season. There's going to be a lot of kinks that need to be worked out, a lot of strategies that need to develop a little bit further. Although these teams have been practicing in the off season, you don't really expect all the cards, and all the aces to be pulled out here, especially for week 1. And even over the course of summer season, we've seen teams have very cyclical weeks where maybe one week they go 2-0 and the next week they go 0-2. We've seen Evil Geniuses struggle last season with some of their essentially vacation schedules when people were available to play. And we saw that really affect them. So they need to make sure.
We also saw E6 have a slow start last season, and they ended up second place right behind CLG, who's currently Optic Gaming. So, the first weeks, they do matter. They really do, because we saw Evil Geniuses, again, I want to reiterate that they barely saw that they were on the outside looking in that 5th spot. Only the top 4 make it into playoffs. It was by only 1 game. So every single game matters for these guys. Every single map matters. Even, making the series close for your overall map win-loss record is a big deal. So, Evil Geniuses, they do lose this first game, but I think if Lunchbox is able to turn around a little bit, have a little bit better of an individual performance, meanwhile, if he does so, no one else can drop the ball, similar to what we saw with X-Optic when we saw Heinz really have that awesome, fantastic first game and then kind of drop the ball in the second game. So everyone going to have to come out and play consistent. I think Plaza Slayer is a good game type for Evil Geniuses again. I really like the way that this is playing out for them. I think CTF Truth is good for them as well. But the way that Allegiance was playing, when I saw the way that Shooter was moving around the map, when I saw that Contra was playing very conservative in the way that Contra likes to play. If he's very comfortable, he's a very deadly player. So is Devin. So again, if Allegiance, you were talking about these guys when they had Hook and stuff like that going up against CLG a really long time ago, they put up a pretty good fight. It's because they're very individually skilled.
Right, and I know with the HCS summer season, we had Evil Geniuses, or essentially the finals, determined by the last series of the last week on the final day of regular season play. And that was actually determined in for Evil Genius's spot into finals. And I know that they're going to do everything they possibly can to prevent being in that same situation again this season, especially having to go up, in their last match, having to play that Counter Logic Gaming squad.
Yeah, and if you're Ogre 2 right now and you're the analyst for EG, you got to be paying attention to every little detail. There was so much that you could take away from that Empire Strongholds game that they could have improvements on. And that's the key, right? The key is finding out your weaknesses and then continuing to work on those. And we could see, some of the rotations just weren't that strong. So if they can continue to go to the drawing board and just, work it out, maybe losing in the first weeks or maybe losing the first map isn't that big of a deal. You learn a lot more from the losses that you take from the wins, but really it's going to come down to, how I think that the big key to EG, I really think that it's Ogre 2. I do, because I think that, again, I think Lunchbox and Roy, how they're constantly going back at it and stuff like that. Ninja can get a little bit cocky because he's, a very, very solid player, understandable, but it's up to Ogre 2 to really gel these guys together and be a fifth leader.
I couldn't agree more there. Ogre 2, like you said before, the GOAT, greatest of all time as far as Halo and his tournament wins, what he was able to do as a player. I know I modeled my gameplay after him when I was watching his VODs every single night, trying to become a pro player. But enough on that for now. We are having the players set up. They are in on Slayer Plaza. First 50 kills to win. We talked about Ninja a little bit here before. We're gonna go and kick things off with him. Take a look through his perspective and how he is playing on this new Evil Geniuses lineup.
It's really all about getting this overshield in the beginning. He's gonna elect to make his way over towards the sniper. Gets a nice nade onto Contra, who makes his way over towards bottom center. That's gonna be Ninja securing the sniper rifle. I'm not really sure what happened with the overshield, but the way that he's playing and playing so confident means that was either burned or it looks like someone from the side of EG was able to pick it up. Ninja doing his best to stay alive here top center to get players all surrounding him. So that was a really nice job initially by Contra. He gets taken out, but Contra did a nice job not challenging that after he got hit by the nade and eventually picks up the kill onto Ninja.
And Lunchbox almost escapes there, but Shooter tracks him down. You got Ninja pushing out. Good shots there on Falcated. Picks up a kill here for his team. He does know where several members of Allegiance are. Needs to stay alive as long as possible. Good one-on-one battle, and Ninja's coming out ahead on. However, Predevinator with an amazing splinter nade right before he is taken out is going to grab a kill there on him.
Good death nade coming out, good splinter nade coming out from Contra. Also really good map control coming out from the side of Allegiance. They have 3 players at snipe. They're going to have to rotate someone over towards that hotel area. They also need to clear out Ninja ASAP. Ninja with a really nice grenade. If he's able to get this kill, this would be huge. Wow, doesn't put the extra burst in that he needs to get that melee onto Falcated. So a little bit of a misplay coming out from Ninja. If he was able to clear those players out, he could have made his way over towards the snipe side and got some sort of control by Evil Geniuses. But it's up to Roy now to slow play this, call out the intel that he's seeing, and now everyone on EG needs a formulated plan to retake map control.
And look, Roy pushes out instantly, gets in that 1v1 with Predevinator, is getting double teamed now, grabs the kill on Falcated from top center, and hasn't forgotten that Predevinator was hiding over by the van. He's going to drop to a great nade from Shooter. Those splinter nades, you can see just how impactful they can be. Several different kill-changing events already happening through those grenades.
Yeah, and Devin over here trying to get his way over towards top snipe because he knows that the overshield's coming up. So this is a perfect play coming out from him. He can elect to either hold posters. Looks like he's going to help his teammate here. That's going to be Shooter take out Roy. However, he does have a player behind him, so he lost positioning over there towards the overshield. Someone's going to have to make their way towards it. Looks like it's a big battle going for it. Lunchbox burns it. So nice job by Devin picking up the double with the BR. Not forgetting about the overshield with so much going on. And Lunchbox going to burn that one. around, I think it was like the 45 mark. So keep that in mind. Around 7:45, that next overshield will be coming up. No one's been able to get really good map control quite yet. It's been back and forth.
And look at that, Roy listening to great communication, obviously coming from Evil Geniuses. Roy listening to those, quickly collapsing on Predevinator that was hiding there. Now Falcated does know there's a player hiding top gold here. He's got the SMG, the weapon you're going to want in those up-close battles. Although I'd like to see him essentially slow it down. There's not much you need to do right now until that new overshield is coming up. Most important thing now is to maintain this lead that you hold.
Ninja was in such a poor position, but he was able to get a no shields kill onto somebody. I think it was onto Devin, and that's going to open up the rest of the map here for Evil Geniuses. So what could have been a disastrous play for Ninja ends up paying off, and the aggressive play is going to go in their favor. However, they are not watching the posters area, so they're going to have to collapse on these guys immediately to protect their sniper, which is in the hands of Victory X. So there it is, 3 players now for the side of Allegiance, dropping the lead going over to Evil Geniuses for the first time so far in this game. And Victory X needs to make some moves here, either go to Hotel or make his way over towards S4, because he's going to get collapsed on here by the players over towards the loop side.
Yeah, it'd really be interesting to see like what exactly these callouts here are, because Victory X was essentially locking down the snipe side of the map by himself. Now, it was a great job by the rest of Evil Geniuses to set up and watch those angles, let him know when there's players coming through loop. You can see Roy in the little player outline there has a good angle to see if anyone was heading over to the stairs, and they're great cross-map teamwork, and it's paying off perfectly.
Yeah, I love the way that Victory's playing this one. I wish that he would just jump off the little ledge and go to S4 to get a little bit higher angle. Maybe worried that someone's going to be shooting him from the back. That was Shooter over there crouching. That could have been a player that shot him in the back, but Victory X takes his face off before he can do so. And keep in mind, Kyle, that this overshield's coming up in map position in the favor of EG. They should be able to lock this one and possibly be able to snowball this one in their favor.
And look at this. Contra's trying to peek out a little bit. Victory X not able to catch him there.
Yeah, if there was a player right to his left, Victory X just missed him and then got pegged over there, got dinked from the side. Not sure what happened with the overshield, but Victory X not feeling that spot anymore, so he's going to rotate and start crouching towards bottom center. Looks like that's Contra making his way over towards top center. Contra gets the kill on him and with help from Falcated, and Victory X finally loses that snipe. But overall, pretty nice job by Victory holding down that snipe side by himself. I wish he had a little bit more of a supporting cast, though, to watch his angles.
Yeah, he could have potentially rotated that a little bit better. They saw players coming from top center. He tried to jump out and make something happen with that weapon, not able to do so there.
Contra, again, looks like this is his area of the map, just crouching around, playing sneaky over there on the snipe ramp. Roy over there on the posters trying to hold him off. This is only a 2-kill game at this point, so completely back and forth. This is pretty much a must-win for Evil Geniuses. The last thing that you want to do to start the season is to go down 2-0 to a team that was around the same caliber as you in the previous season. So, you know, this game does mean a lot for both teams, and if you're Contra, you got to do your best to try to stay alive here and make your way over towards the snipe, and that's exactly what he did. That
was an awesome way. He knew he could sit there and wait for his shields to recharge, but he knew he was being called out, that most likely was going to get collapsed upon by different players. And what you can do in Halo 5 is just, you know, sprint, thrust, slide away, and it's so hard for players to hit those headshots on you at times.
Yeah, and one of the things when you're, you know, a top player, you time out those little instances and those escape routes in your head. You see Pistola do it so well. Contra's another one of those players that is just a master of staying alive. You can see even no shields, gets pegged in the head and still is getting hit by nades, and just that extra couple seconds, that's super annoying for Evil Geniuses to have to drop down and kill that player. With that being said, though, Victory X has a snipe back in his hand. Overshield coming up here pretty shortly, and a 5-kill lead for EG. This is their game to lose.
All right, we got the sniper rifle back in the hands of Victory X. It'll be interesting to see if he goes up to top snipe there, but already hitting one headshot and picking up another body.
Yeah, and Victory X, that looked like a possible nice headshot onto Devin for the double. He's just doing a fantastic job of controlling the most important part of the map, and, you know, doing it without much help there. Finally help coming in from Roy, and this is what you need to see from EG. You need to have someone that is pushed up a little bit further than you, but I don't like how Victory is pushing over here towards this lunchbox is in the way, so lunchbox needs to rotate, either get towards Hotel or needs to be adding posters pressure so no one comes up the loop. Roy getting a nice kill onto Shooter. That's going to give them a 6-kill lead, but Victory X, he could definitely be in the Hotel where we saw, I think it was Eco earlier, just holding down that spot. It's a really deadly spot, even with the sniper.
Now we have a 5-kill lead coming towards the end of this game. This is probably going to be the last sniper we see here on this map. Most likely won't see another one spawn. We may see another overshield if Allegiance decides to slow this one down, but Evil Geniuses is in a great position to take home their first win.
I'm so happy that Victory finally rotated for this. I was hoping that he would either go S4 or make his way over towards Hotel. I still wish that he was in Hotel right now. This spot is a decent spot to snipe, but he would be able to get even better angles on these guys from a different position. With that being said, he doesn't have to worry about anyone coming behind him because no one's going to be spawning over in that area. Now that he rotates, they will be spawning over in that area, either towards the snipe lift or right there where he was looking in that Hotel and top blue area. So nice awareness coming from these guys. They only need one more to tie this series back up 1-1. It looks like everyone's going to be trying to collapse on these guys in the cafe. There's Victory. He does have a plasma. Is he going to be able to get the stick and make it a fancy final kill? Maybe a no-scope in the face here to get everyone excited there at home, but it looks like they aren't able to do so, and everyone from Allegiance is slowing this one down.
Yeah, we'll stay on board with Victory. EG knows they only need one. They're looking to quickly end that. And of course, great angle by Victory X, peeking through that light rifle hallway and picking up that final kill.
And what were we talking about, Kyle? We're talking about Lunchbox, how he only had 11 kills in that Empire Strongholds game. It's going to be up to him to really step it up in this next one, and that's exactly what he did. 15 and 12, most kills in this game so far. Meanwhile, Shooter 7 and 9, very low deaths. Contra 8 and 12. So a solid game coming out from EG. They were able to finally secure the overshield. Victory X was able to finally secure that sniper rifle, and they were able to slowly pull away.
Yeah, Victory had that sniper rifle the majority of that game, and he did go +4 as well for his team. Like you said, Lunchbox. And not only did he have most kills, but he also had most assists as well at 9. So he is that player that's constantly pushing, being aggressive. We saw maybe getting some of the rust off there in that game number 1 against Allegiance on Empire Strongholds, but now we're going to be looking at a Truth capture the flag game.
Yeah, Truth CTF. Again, I really like the... I don't know if it was Ogre 2 that got in on this, whether it was the coach or whatnot for Evil Geniuses to say, hey, these are the maps that we want to play. But I definitely think that they won this whole pick and ban phase when it came to selecting the maps. Truth CTF, we were talking about Victory X, how he's a 2005 guy. These guys have countless hours on midship. I know we all do, but Truth CTF is just one of those maps where they don't have to really worry about the strategy. It should just be engraved in everyone's brain at this point.
I would certainly hope so. Now, with this, essentially, in your opinion, you're going to go ahead and give the advantage here to Evil Geniuses now.
I think so. I think that the momentum's kind of on their side as well. I do think that this series is going to go to 5 games. I hope it's going to go to 5 games. I think that the shots and the plays that I'm seeing coming out from the side of Allegiance is really impressive. I just think that was a must-win for Evil Geniuses, and that's why they came out so strong. It's going to be up to EG to really think of all of these games as must-win games, and for Allegiance to have that same mindset.
Yeah, and we saw it's extremely hard to win, especially on Plaza Slayer, when one team is able to lock down and control the sniper essentially the entire game. Maybe the Allegiance had it maybe one time that game, picking up a dead body.
It took a while for even Evil Geniuses to get to the sniper in the hands of Victory X, but once they were able to do so, Victory just did such a fantastic job of just staying alive and not challenging, and also not needing to rotate. A lot of people panic and they leave the most powerful position on the map because they're not finding anybody for a while. It's okay to sit there and lock it down and not find anybody for a while, especially if you're slowly building on a lead. So just a veteran play coming out from him.
Yeah, especially when we talk about the meta and how we see the game playing out now. We've seen, especially from CLG, or from Optic Gaming and Enigma 6 already, these are the 2 of the most experienced teams we have in the league, and they are not afraid to just stop everything and crouch around corners. And that's something that we're seeing more and more out of these teams as they reach the top, and they're in those finals contender spots as well. So it's really good to be able to see them be able to slow that down, and just the great map rotations out of Victory X.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the rest of this series pans out. This is the level of Halo that I wanted to see. This is the level of competition when it in terms of 2 teams being evenly matched. Wanted to see a little bit more competition from the first 2 matches of the day, but definitely these last 2 are going to be delivering. And again, I think advantage over to Evil Geniuses because of, just the previous experience with this map, but it's really going to be a coin flip because how good everyone from Allegiance is shooting. They're not really missing any shots from what I'm seeing.
All right, and I say with this one, we start off again with Shooter. He had an amazing finals like we discussed already, and not as good of a game number 2 there. He did go negative with least amount of kills on his team, but like I said, he's one of my sleeper players, one of the people I thought played the best at the most recent LAN event here. So he quickly pushing car 1, grabbing that sword. It looks like Roy does not know he's sneaking up behind him.
3 dead already for the side of Evil Geniuses. Victory X getting a big kill on a Devon, so they don't go all 4 dead to start. But interesting to see Shooter not really pull the flag and ends up running back and playing a little bit of defense. That was, in my opinion, a big misplay coming out from Shooter. He had the sword. He could have got aggressive. He had 3 dead. He could have gotten into the base and pulled it out, and they could already be putting this one in.
3 dead, top center with sword. You need to jump in there window and immediately get there, not push back for the last guy alive. You need to have faith in your teammates. You need to rely on them to be able to finish off that kill. And he didn't even put any damage down on that player as well. He didn't even have his pistol out. That player died entirely with the Shooter just looking at him, not being able to do much.
Ooh,
What
the
just happened?
assassination came out. I'm not really sure how he wasn't able to get that sword lunge, but again, that's just a result of the small misplay that he had originally by not pushing in. And sometimes the game's just gonna, be like, hey, you made a misplay, so this is gonna happen to you. And that's exactly what we saw. So maybe Evil Geniuses is gonna be able to take advantage of that. Victory X is gonna try to push in here to get the flag. That's not gonna happen. So Lunchbox's teammate is gonna be top center, laying down the shots. Pretty powerful position, especially if you have the supporting cast around you. Hard to get away from those nades, though. And nice job from Devon getting the melee onto Roy with the sword. So just constant back and forth here. Good plays coming out from both teams, and Ninja getting aggressive with the fuel rod. He gets taken down, and again, it's just everyone trading kills. Just the flood non-stop here for Evil Geniuses, making their way towards the base. I gotta say though, for EG, this is what you want to see. If I was on Allegiance, I'd be a little bit worried when I saw people so aggressive towards the objective. Ninja, perfect shots.
That was a great play by him. He killed the Furod player. Now picks up a double. There's another player here in window. That guy is
Nice
no
job.
shields and drops. No one's blocking Carbine though.
Roy.
Can he get the flag out?
Roy needed to be in that Carbine spawn, or they needed to communicate, run the flag somewhere else. That was their opportunity, and that was a big missed opportunity. It looks like everybody from Allegiance is going to be able to secure. Oh no, Falcated gets killed by Victory X. Victory X going in for the touch. He's running this one carside still. He has the fuel rod, so really nice flank coming out from Victory. Also, Camouflage was on the map. Not really sure who's going to be able to pick that one up, but nice job by Victory coming in when we thought the return was going in the favor of Allegiance. He says no and puts the flag in. Victory X.
And that was absolutely the result of the fuel rod that Victory had as well, picking up 1 kill, grabbing an assist as well. Is a great job by him. Does get that last fuel rod shot off, picks up an assist there on Falcated. Go ahead and take a look at Contras. He just picks up the kill on Roy, who initially had that sword as well. Looks like he's
Contra thought
looking
the
for
sword dropped. No, he's looking for the fuel rod.
Oh,
Okay, so there's the fuel rod. Contra's going to pick this one up. He has a lot of players on the side of Evil Geniuses over at the car side, but he's stuck car 1. So nice nade coming in from Roy to take him down to no shields. Let's see if he's going to be able to stay alive. Still no shields because the fuel rod does damage to yourself, a little bit of splash damage. And look at Roy still holding that position, knowing that Contra's over there with the fuel rod. Everyone on Evil Geniuses is going to have to either set up at their base and crouch, what Lunchbox is doing, or they're going to have to rotate over towards the pink side of the map. Contra going under the base, maybe not the best place to go with the fuel rod, and he gets punished for it.
All right, now Lunchbox coming off the spawn here in his own base. Looking out the window now, Roy and his brother are pushing out car side. They know that there's several players over here. He gets dropped by that Carbine and likes of Shooter, but Lunchbox knows that player drops. Doesn't know if he knows there's another player here top car. Does in fact hit him with a great grenade as well. You look for him to just sit back, wait for his shields to recharge. He is pushing back over to this player. Does Shooter know he's there? Either way, it doesn't matter because he's getting collapsed on. He did have this sword as well. I really like this play from Lunchbox, just sitting back, waiting for help before you make a move.
Yeah, a nice bait and switch coming out from the side of EG. That's exactly what you need to do. That's what they're known for, and they get rewarded for it. That's 3 dead for the side of Allegiance. Last player is going to be Shooter crouching on top of the base. Lunchbox has to fall back. Looks like they spawned behind him in the bubble, so Shooter is alive and making his way over towards pink side, but they do have pink 2 control for the side of EG, and that's Victory X with the fuel rod. So Victory X being the MVP so far in this series for Evil Geniuses, and Ninja trying to pull this flag out and capitalize on the positioning that Victory Hex had and the damage that he did.
Wow, and Ninja now busting out the Hydra. Yeah, looking to grab maybe a few kills with here. He knows there's a player below the base. Great shots there, but he ultimately drops as well. Now that flag is still out, but nobody in position to quite run it yet. You have some shots coming down from Falcated, who is sitting top car, but now Predominator and Contra work together to go ahead and get that one returned.
Yeah, unfortunately for Roy, he didn't know that Victory X was no shields crouching there, so in his point of view, he thought that his teammate was going to come help him. Contra getting that killing spree, and there you go. That's Falcated choking the carbine spawns. We talk about it so much. It's so important, especially if you're going to run the flag that way. So this should be a pretty easy cap coming out from Allegiance. This series is tied up. This game is all tied up 1-1. Stealth capture going over to Contra and Allegiance.
And great job by Predominator. You can see him using that storm rifle to initially take off the player's shields, then quickly trying to change weapons to pick up the headshot with the pistol. Definitely one of the faster ways you can pick up a kill here in Halo 5.
Yeah, Devin making his way over towards Pink. I like this play. He should start crouching now, though. Needs to be a little bit careful that people are going to be on his radar. There it is. There's Lunchbox coming in. Could have still kept his plasma out, but looks like his teammates are dying, and he panicked a little bit. So everyone on EG in a pretty good position to potentially run this flag. As we were talking about the carbine spawns being so important, Ninja ends up choking on the flag a little bit. Let's see if that's going to cost him the cap. That took about an extra second, but Victory X going big, getting a double kill. This should be able to secure the cap. That's going to be 2-1 for Evil Geniuses. Camouflage coming up soon. Another stealth capture as well. So EG able to counter on that and pick up the sword as well. They do have map control, so this is their opportunity to shut this one down.
And you can hear Shooter, obviously here's the call out. Sword player is in front of our base. Ninja tries to do something with it. He ultimately gets taken out by Contra as well. That's going to put the rest of Evil Geniuses in a bad position as they start dropping. Control now in the favor of Allegiance, and Contra, if he's able to grab a kill here on this player with this sword, this is going to be able to lock down Carbine.
Yeah, this is good. He has a teammate top center. He also has a teammate that's on top of the base. That's Roy stuck under the base. He's going to give this guy the Spartan charge. There it is. Another player, don't drop. He has the sword. What are you thinking? That's Ninja. Why are you dropping, Ninja? That's a double kill there and a killing spree coming out from Contra. However, the flag is pulled. A nice play going under the base there. That's Victory X. He gets picked off. So nice communication coming out from Allegiance. Also, this flag is being ran, and another nice job communicating that I have the sword here from Contra. I want to run this flag because I'm going to run faster. I'm going to run so fast that I'm going to forget the flag as well. So he's going to grab this one, ground pound it, and it's going to be all tied up 2-2, Gal.
All right, we got just under 5 minutes left. Of course, with it already being tied up, next kill will win. If we
not the next kill, because Allegiance would have won just now. But
but it will go into overtime, and that'll be an extra 3 minutes added to the clock should it go into extended time.
Yeah, the way that this one's going, I'm not sure if it would. I mean, the series, it's pretty insane. It's been pretty close so far, but the way that the captures have been coming back and forth, I don't think that it's going to go to overtime. I think someone's going to capitalize on this one pretty quickly here. Camouflage not coming up for another good 40 seconds here, so Contra over at Carbine Side isn't the worst place to be with the sword. However, he needs to get inside that base. There was a player no shields below him. He gets taken out, so that's 2 dead for Allegiance. This is their opportunity. Really good spot here for Allegiance to try to get this cap, and it's going to be up to these guys spawning car side to keep them out of the base. Another player under the base, crouching. That's a big play. If he can get the kill, no. Roy not able to get the kill.
And look at the sliver of health he has. That's virtually nothing there on the screen. And wow, that's Contra just completely using this sword to his advantage. Several kills.
Oh, no.
He just can't run it.
He can't run it. He's just running too fast. And one of the things that Ninja did, Ninja spawned over there towards the car side and immediately started sprinting over. Devin does get the kill there, but this is just a really heads-up play from everybody on EG. Lunchbox getting that fuel rod. That's pretty big, so now it's 2 dead. Let's see if Ninja's going to be able to get the angle that he needs to take these players out, trying to help get their flag returned. Needs to switch over to that assault rifle. That player is no shields. That's Falcated running around. That's going to be a guy Pink 2 now. No shields going to call that one out. Contra with the nice heads-up play to toss this one out. Looks like Ninja's going to try to get this return. Next flag capture is going to win, and we're in the middle of a standoff. Falcated not able to get the kill onto Roy, so Roy doing his best to stay alive, and the flag is going to be alive for both teams. So again, we are in a little bit of a standoff here. Numbers advantage and map advantage going over to Allegiance. Shooter's able to pick up that camo. If he can stay alive, he can. Ninja, big kill from Ninja. So the map resets, and we are in an even standoff, Kyle.
Right, we have players dropping left and right. Take a quick look at some of the stats here, and look at Contra and Falcated doing work here for that Allegiance squad. Already midway through the 20 kill mark. Now Roy, good job here. I like what he's doing, backing up, being the player to take that flag and hold it for his team. I'd like to see make sure they all work together. Whether or not they're committing to pink side or committing to car, they need to make sure they somewhat stay together here.
Yeah, the big thing is you kind of want to do a 2-on-2 here, where you never want to leave the flag guy by himself at the base. You always need someone there to back him up, because it's not touch return. You got to sit on the flag for a while to get the actual return. So that's why it's important for Victory X to do exactly what he did and just stay there at the base. Let's see what's going on the side of Allegiance and see what their plan is to try to retake map control here to try to get this last return.
Falcated pushing out car side. Knew there was a player there, but we didn't expect were two players. Lunchbox to be front of the base, another player to be hiding in the bubble. But look, great nade there.
Oh, he should have just touched the flag. That was a big misplay coming out from Shooter. He had the sword as well. He didn't need to go from the ground pound. So Ninja clutching it up and getting that return is going to make them win the game 3-2, and they go up in the series 2-1. Holy schmoly.
And that was Lunchbox actually extending that series. I thought it was over when Contra was running the flag back with the sword, and then Lunchbox was able to jump into the base, pick up a double with the Fuel Rod, and actually move that flag across the map.
Yeah.
So Lunchbox stepping it up for his team and giving EG now a 2-1 lead in this series.
The Fuel Rod, you know, like you said, the players with the Fuel Rods in their hand obviously make the plays, but the Fuel Rod was the biggest part of that game. Typically, it's the sword. You see people running with the sword and getting kills here in the replay, but typically it's the sword guy running the flag, which is really big. In this instance, it was the Fuel Rod cannon player helping get the returns, which was the big change of this game, big story of this game. So when it's all said and done, again, EG up 2-1 in this series, and we're going into Plaza Strongholds where they actually won Slayer. So big advantages here for EG. The thing is, you know, Strongholds, Allegiance did win Strongholds, and they had a little bit of mishaps there. Lunchbox on the rotations was a little bit off, not getting that guy out of the pit. So again, they can't have any miscommunication here on Plaza Strongholds. They need to make sure that they're just on top of the spawns. Victory X needs to do exactly what he did in the Slayer game, hold that nest area, and make sure that the rest of his teammates are filling accordingly.
You're exactly correct.
Of course I am.
Of course you are. But, you know, what I saw at that sword, you know, we always see it impactful with flagrants. You know, just can't deny it. It's so impactful when that player has a flag and a sword at the same time. But there were more sword kills that game than I have seen in a long time, especially from Contra himself, where Contra had more sword kills than probably most entire games put together.
It's not very uncommon in scrims. It's pretty rare in a tournament atmosphere and also in the HCS Pro League for someone to go off. Saw a couple misplays. We saw Ninja dropping down there and challenging the sword guy. But the biggest misplay was Shooter going for the ground pound when he had the sword in hand. He could have just lifted up and then just sliced that guy, or at least just tried to touch the flag. He didn't realize that the flag was getting returned so quickly. So that was probably the biggest misplay. Also, it's not a bad idea to play defensive with the sword, you know, bait the flag, sit in the corner, just go up and sword the guy as he goes for it or something like that. But maybe that's what he was doing and it backfired.
Right. Well, let's not waste any time here. We do have the players set up for game number 4. Everything on the line here for Allegiance. They are down 1-2 in the series. Now, this is Strongholds on the Plaza. We've already seen these two teams match up on Slayer Plaza. Tom, who are you looking to kick this one off with?
I want to see what's going on with Lunchbox. We haven't seen much of his point of view, and we were talking about how he came up big with the Fuel Rod. We've watched a lot about it, a lot of Victory X so far. So I want to see what good old Jason Brown is doing over here as he grabs the battle rifle. Interestingly enough, we have a 2-on-2 going on in the yard, and that's going to go in the favor of Allegiance. So Allegiance able to secure that yard. They're also going to be able to secure this nest area. It's going to be important to find where the spawns are. So Contra checking over towards that common spawn. It looks like the spawn's going to be for the loop area. So this is actually a really, really good start for Allegiance.
Oh, this is fantastic, as they're actually picking up a triple cap off of this. Even when Evil Geniuses just came off their spawn in that loop area, there was a player picked up or killed by Falcated with grenades, which immediately puts Evil Geniuses in a terrible position, almost essentially preventing them from doing anything until that player actually respawns.
Tom, Ogre 2, I know you're watching and listening right now. Let's analyze that beginning strat and change that, because sending 2 people over towards the yard is just not a good idea. And that's what happens when you make a mistake like that. You just get punished. So EG does eventually pick up the nest, which is really good for them. They need to start making their way over towards this bottom middle area, but everyone on Allegiance knows that that's where everyone from EG is going to make their priority, so they switch their priority and focus to that area as well.
Yeah, and this is a great job by Allegiance to just contest this bottom mid hill and keep picking up a few kills. Look, as you can see in that kill feed there, that is Predevinator with the shotgun and picks up a shotgun kill there on Lunchbox as well. So now you've got Deminator moving around, staying alive, does a great job avoiding dying to Victory X, who was S4. You've got two members of Evil Geniuses trying to focus on that yard. I really like that Ninja actually left that hill for Roy and just jumped to try to commit and help out his team.
Well, this is pretty good for the side of EG, but the thing is, if they don't get this bottom middle, it's going to get bad really quickly. Fortunately for them, they put two people in there. No bodies for Allegiance to be able to contest this one, but somehow they get the reset. So I'm curious to see who got out of the hill. Looks like that was Victory X that left. They just assumed that they had that one under lock. But look at this, Kyle. We're already 2 minutes in and 0 seconds coming out from the side of EG. Allegiance not letting up at all. They're pissed after that CTF truth loss.
And they are putting the hurt on Evil Geniuses. Now, we know this game is not over until it's over, and we saw, you know, that insane Allegiance comeback. I believe it was on Evil Geniuses as well, that they were down 60 points, and Hines being the MVP of that one series, bringing it back, saving the game, and continuing the series here. So Shooter trying to win that 1v1, but it's hard to do against the Storm Rifle.
Yeah, this is the opportunity. Finally, 3 dead dropping for Allegiance. Now this is Evil Genius's time to go in. Everyone's spawning over there in top blue, so they're going to rotate. Allegiance is going to go over towards the yard to stop the bleeding because it's going to be a temporary triple cap, and there it is. So now it's going to be, again, jockeying for position over towards bottom middle. One of the things I really like to do in Strongholds is Victory picks up a double kill and Lunchbox gets a betrayal on a Ninja. That's not very good. But 50 points for the setup of Allegiance. Let's see if Evil Geniuses is able to get more than 50 points. If so, in my opinion, that means that they're going to be walking away with the win. I always try to look at how long teams hold their setup compared to how long it takes for them to retake it.
Yeah, normally when I see teams hold it for 100 seconds, that's who I'm going to give the win to. But what we just saw a minute ago was Victory X actually had a double kill with a single plasma nade.
Yeah, he's playing great
as well. So that's cool to see. And then Ninja, of course, or somebody then betrayed Ninja there on the team, I think it was.
Well, it's great to see Victory X playing so well because he was a little bit of a weak link, you know, on all of his teams so far in Halo 5. Not saying that he isn't a great Halo 5 player, but he just wasn't playing, you know, as good as he is and how good we know he can play. He's one of, again, the most underrated players in all of Halo history. So if he's playing well, it's because he's just playing it, you know, almost near perfect Halo. He has a very good Halo mind, and the way that he plays and stays alive and communicates, it's a very rewarding experience when you're playing on his team.
I couldn't agree with you more. I had the, you know, privilege of teaming with him for quite a few events on the agency as well, and I always considered him probably the best player on the team.
Yeah, so Allegiance does end up getting a couple points there, but Evil Genius is able to retake control immediately again, and this is looking really good for EG because we're making our way towards that 50-point mark, and as I was talking about, if they're able to beat that 50-point mark, they should have the advantage here. They also get the camouflage as well, so glad that we're on Ninja's point of view right now because he's also doing some nice little jumps here that you guys may not know about, making his way over towards this yard area for the flank. Now there's a player no shields. He's going to take that guy out. That's a shotgun player, so he needs to bail immediately. Uses the thrust to get out of the way. Nice job getting the double kill. He's going to be able to secure this yard too with the camouflage, but they need to immediately watch bottom middle. He's getting all these kills. I don't know what the rest of Evil Geniuses is doing. They're getting triple capped out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought that there was going to be a triple cap in the favor of Evil Geniuses after that camo, but couldn't have been more wrong there. That was Allegiance clutching it up. Ninja was obviously doing some good things, but he ultimately gets dropped as well.
What happens is when you go and you push into the yard, you have to be aware that the other team's now going to spawn over there towards Hotel and also towards the lift where the old camouflage used to spawn. So if no one's choking that area and watching that area, you're trading the worst part of the map for the best part of the map, and getting the kills doesn't matter at that point because you're literally just teleporting them to the most powerful positions. So it may have looked great, but if your teammates aren't, you know, following suit, then the move isn't necessarily even that good because you're pushing in and messing up the entire spawn system.
We see a lot of action happen now. Bottom center, as you see, Allegiance still trying to prevent Evil Geniuses from capturing that hill, but a good flank by Lunchbox. He's going to be able to push over towards Nest now. We might see a reverse triple cap.
Yeah, it's going to be only a temporary triple cap, though, because everyone from Allegiance is making their way over towards... oh, they also got a nice spawn over there towards the hotel. So they are able to capture the Nest here, and it's really up to Lunchbox to get these kills. He's not able to do so, but that's another one of those little misplays coming out from Evil Geniuses, not choking the spawns and being aware. You have to, you know, toss some grenades over there to have some sort of influence or maybe be scoped in. So Halo 5 spawn system is like, oh, well, we don't want to spawn them in too much danger. Let's get them out of there. But yeah, it's just not paying attention to the spawn so far and getting punished for it.
And look at that positioning by Lunchbox, being able to stay alive, no shields, using the pillar in the middle of the stronghold to position himself to dodge the shots and shoot or miss the melee.
Oh no, he's out of ammo.
Pay attention.
Oh my gosh, no, poor Roy. Oh no. The dream turned into a nightmare really quick. It's like one of those, you know, things when you're in school and all of a sudden you're in your underwear. That was awful. No, poor Roy.
And that would have been a triple kill and a prevention of the cap. So that could absolutely be game-changing. And I know he pulled the trigger on that gun at least 2 to 3 times before he realized he was out of ammo.
Ooh, Falcated getting the better of Ninja. That was a pretty big 1v1. However, everyone on EG pretty aware that everybody on Allegiance is making their way towards the bottom, and this game's getting close really quickly. Nice job by Lunchbox putting bodies in bottom middle, but Allegiance doing a better job. Had 3 people there to secure the cap. If Evil Geniuses is able to clear this out, though, they should be able to retake bottom middle. Ninja trying to do his best. Falcated, though, using the thrust to fly past the grenades, trying to look for a player bottom middle. That's not going to happen. And now this is Evil Geniuses getting a little bit desperate. The time is close to 100 points, and they know that Allegiance only needs a couple more to secure this win, so they're making their way over towards bottom middle, and everybody has to know that from the side of Allegiance, so they're just going to constantly be going down there, and it's just an absolute brawl, very similar to how the pit is in Strongholds on Empire. So whoever's able to walk away with this one should be able to secure themselves the win. Looks like Evil Genius is able to do so. They only need 20 more points to lock this down. They need to get Falcated out of this nest immediately, but no, Roy, again, he picks up empty battle rifles, but he does switch over to the assault rifle and get the reset.
All right, what he didn't see was a player was actually sneaking up behind him to go over, and that nest is now being captured back in the favor of Allegiance. This one is coming down to the wire. However, Lunchbox with a great job actually picking up the reset.
Roy didn't see that player to his right. You gotta, he just was going towards bottom middle because they were capturing both nest and bottom middle. So that's gonna be Allegiance getting a triple cap. That's gonna mathematically eliminate Evil Geniuses from this game, and we are going to a game 5, Kyle.
And this is going to be the very first game of the HCS Pro League fall season. None other than our 5th and 6th seeded teams from the summer season. Evil Geniuses matching up here against Allegiance. I'm taking a look at some of the stats here. The captures across the board were pretty similar, as well as the kills. However, Evil Geniuses actually outslayed Allegiance here.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting how you can get outslayed and still lose that, but we saw a couple of mistakes, mainly in yard, in my opinion. Right from the beginning of the game, going and challenging the yard with 2 players isn't very necessary, going down 50-0 just because of that small mishap in the beginning strategy. And then this was big too. Ninja getting this double kill, and then nobody rotating and helping bottom middle and watching that yard. So just small misplays like that, you know, and you only lost by 13 points.
And not forget, right here, I was actually going to bring this up. If he had more ammo, that was a triple kill and prevention of the yard cap.
It was a big mistake for him to switch off of his SMG. He stuck that guy assuming that he was just going to get the 2-for-1 stick. You can never do that because they have thrust. So if you hear that your teammate got stuck or you see it, you have enough time to thrust out of the way and still not even be taken to no shields, still even maybe be half shields. And then he could have easily just looked, killed the one shot with the SMG, and even at that range, if you zoom in with the SMG, you still are going to win that battle with a guy with a pistol or an assault rifle. So big misplay coming out from Roy. I understand he had the battle rifle. He didn't know or anything like that, but you have to secure that second kill at least. You have to stick that guy and then look at the other guy and finish that guy off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you heard like a one-shot call-out. Unfortunately, you hear a lot of those one-shot call-outs when people aren't actually one-shot, and it came to bite Roy there.
I've never done that before. I've never called a guy that's one-shot that wasn't one-shot. I've never done that ever.
Oh, yeah?
Ever.
I've never heard him do that before. Just kidding. But either way, Now we've got a game number 5. This is going to be Evil Geniuses matching up against Team Allegiance. We do have the players in game, so who is going to take the very first win between these two teams for the fall season? That is going to be determined here on Slayer, the rig. Of course, first 50 kills to win. Instead of a carbine here, we have the BR spawning, although you do see players still calling that the carbine location.
I'm going to give this one to Evil Geniuses, and you know why? It's because the only games that they've lost in this series so far have been strongholds, and we've seen that they're weak in having communication and having rotations and communicating those rotations. They're also red, which is a little bit of an advantageous position in Slayer on the rig, and also Ninja is very strong at this game type. With that being said, they do hop off to a hot start and get this 3-1 lead.
And now we've got Predeminator, the last guy alive, had that plasma caster, was able to sneak behind the team, but looks like
his teammates there too.
Yeah, Evil Geniuses did not want to hang out in that location and decided to just piece out towards carbine, as it looks like they also have the sniper rifle as well.
Yeah, that's a good play coming out from these guys. They smelled something fishy coming over from the side of the BR area, and it was Devin in Devin with this plasma caster is now in a really, really awkward position, because if you poke, you got to be, you know, assuming that they're sniping over in this area, over towards that carbine area, and Shooter getting a kill on a Ninja. Not really sure why Ninja's even, you know, being aggressive. This is an instance where you just fall back and let your sniper do work. So let's see if that small little kill comes to bite them in the butt. And then Lunchbox over there with the shotgun, he gets taken in no shield. So nice job by Devin capitalizing with that plasma caster.
Yeah, he got 2 players, no shields, and what? Where did that just come from?
From the heavens. Look at this. If he gets another one, oh, okay.
Wow.
But yeah, that's for those of you that don't know the trick of holding down the plasma caster. Also, if you guys weren't aware that the plasma caster does more damage after the update that came out like a month and a couple weeks ago. The plasma caster, very, very strong in this game type, and it's one of the only things that allows the blue team to even hang with the red team, because of the fact that the red team can grenade the sniper back and has the better position on the camouflage.
Yeah, and speaking of that plasma caster, we saw what exactly was able to do with
L-Town and those guys.
Yeah, so so what we saw from them and getting that triple kill to start off that game as well.
Yeah, and you can see Lunchbox stuck in the trenches. That's not a very good position for Lunchbox to be in, but he's trying to make his way down there because the camouflage is coming up. Very common play for people to try to sneak their way over towards the trenches and kind of bait it, but it's probably the most vulnerable position in the actual map. So looks like he is able to pick that one up. If he's able to survive, that would be good for them, but Shooter's going to clean that one up. Roy still has the sniper rifle this entire time, so Roy was the one sitting over towards the carbine, probably pulling his hair out because his teammates are dying. In that type of instance, you want to just be the guy that's sniping and getting picks. So the fact that Lunchbox was able to burn that that camouflage is a big deal. And now they can sort of collapse on these guys and try to get the picks in order to get the BR side, because even though they're in a good position now with the sniper, this isn't exactly where they want to be. I'm sure they want to get over towards the BR side, unless this is part of their strategy, which isn't a bad strategy by any means.
Not only that, but we've got the new sniper rifle getting ready to spawn here in about 10 seconds. So you'll want to see teams set up to at least try and contest that. Now, we do have both power weapons in the hands of Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, well, one thing Roy can do is exactly what he's doing right now with that snipe coming up. Rotate over towards the mid, watch that mid cat, and then also watch top tower and just bait that sniper. So really good play coming out from these guys, but it looks like Allegiance is going to elect to throw the grenade to bounce the sniper rifle back towards the BR area, most likely because they knew that Roy or someone was going to be baiting it. Nice job by Roy. That's a killing spree. Let's see if he's even died yet in this game. No, he's 5-2-0. So impressive start coming out from Roy. Definitely trying to be that player to go huge in the game 5. One of the best feelings in the world when your team really needs you and you can come up big, and that's what we expect from Roy. Roy, known as one of the best, you know, individual shots, one of the best battle rifles, you know, in all of Halo 2, all of Halo 3, and now he has that gun here sitting in Halo 5 on a killing spree in game 5.
Right, and he does have the sniper in his back pocket, although it is out of ammo, and it doesn't matter if he drops it as well. It is not going to function like the shotgun does on this map. It is on a static
Well,
respawn.
Roy doesn't care if there's guns with ammo in it or not. He'll still pull the trigger, as we saw last game.
That's true. He will pull out that sniper just to scare someone with it, let them see that little shiny light when it puts it on his head, and just have him run away.
Yeah, nice job from Roy. Could have easily choked on that last shot, but he needs to back off because he's no shields. He had a shotgun. He had a nice little spree, so big misplay coming out out from him. We've seen a couple small, stupid deaths coming out from the side of EG, but they do have a 4-kill lead because they have had the sniper rifle in their control.
That was Roy's first death as well, and having that shotgun, I really hope. And wow.
Ninja. It's so frustrating when, you know, you're on his team and you see him do things like that, and it's so frustrating when you're playing against him and you see things like that happen, because it could go either way. You know, going for the no-scope, it's a risk and reward type of thing. You can hit no-scopes in Halo 5 more easily than you can in other Halo games, so you're seeing that it's a lot more common here. But, you know, either way, Ninja needs to get over in a different position and needs to get over towards the BR base finally so they can start locking this one down. And there you see it. Oh, Ninja! Switch. Oh, man, that would have been an insane overkill. But yeah, Ninja, like I was saying before this game started, we've seen what he can do on this map. This is, you know, his thing. He likes to get aggressive with the snipe. He likes to push on the spawns, and, you know, he goes off at times. I've played him so many times on my fake account on this game type and matched up against him where he's dropped 20 kills, and I'm just, man, he's so lucky. But, you know, when you do it consistently, you know, it's hard to call him lucky. It's just skill.
And we saw what he did in the early weeks of the summer season, where he had that insane Rig Slayer game where he was just hitting every shot with the sniper that he took. Yeah,
he's, you know, moving so swiftly around the map. You can see, you know, that grenade doesn't hit. He does have a shotgun in his back pocket though, so you know, misplayed that one a little bit. Probably wasn't expecting that player to stay alive. However, Roy's going to reap the benefit of that one, and it's kind of the Roy and Ninja show at this point. We just keep switching back and forth, and these guys are just going off. You can see they really want to win this one. Finally seeing these players from Evil Geniuses really step up and play as good as we know that they can play. So pretty refreshing if you're an EG fan to see these guys finally taking their form. It's going to be really hard for Allegiance to weather this storm here because Roy has the shotgun, has the sniper rifle, the big gun runner medal, the top gun medal. He's just moving around the map so fluently as well. So everyone on EG is going to have to get his back, get the kills that they need, and that's good. Good trading kills there. You can continue to do so, and just hope that Roy's able to pick these guys apart with the weapons.
And Roy takes the sniper shot while crouching and still just crouches away out of that situation. Doesn't even stand up. Now, he is getting collapsed on. That's 2 power weapons down there right by tower. The question is does Allegiance know that he had those where he died?
Yeah, that was Contra that was playing really annoying over there when you were watching Roy's screen, just sitting over there towards Tower 3, and now Contra's able to get that camouflage as well, but he gets betrayed by Falcated. Falcated, that's not what you want to do when you're the newest member on the team in a Game 5. So that's a 12-kill lead going over for Allegiance. This is their opportunity, though, with the sniper rifle in Devin's hand. I know if Falcated could rewind time a little bit, he totally would, but...
That was fresh camo, too.
That's so unfortunate for them.
And Predeminator picking up a few kills, trying to bring this one back. And gosh, the position that they were just in momentarily ago was so opportune for them to bring this back.
Yeah, I mean, it was big because you have the sniper rifle in Devin's hands, right? So if you can get a camouflage guy that is able to get aggressive and, you know, choke these guys out into the open, then you can, you know, just pretty much go on a nice little spree here, and they're down 12, so you assume that camo guy gets a killing spree, the sniper guy gets a killing spree, and you're only down 2 kills. However, when you go and you kill your teammate, in that instance, it's almost like a 6-kill swing.
You're exactly correct. Takes a kill off the board. You lose that camo. There's not enough time in the game left to wait for the new camo to come up before you start making plays as well. So time factor, obviously,
that's
really
a good point.
important.
I didn't even realize that there's only 4 minutes left in this game, and, you know, Rig, it's one of those games where you can easily slow it down, and Devin getting a couple picks here. It's only a 9-kill game now, so even that camo betrayal becoming even bigger at this point. Nice job again coming from Devin. I told you, these guys, they have such amazing shots. It's just a matter of their communication and strategy and execution. It's a good sign for them that they're winning the Strongholds games, because that game type does take a lot of those things that I mentioned, but this could be a monumental collapse for EG if they don't walk away with this one.
Yeah, that is going to be a comeback and a half if we see anything remotely close to that. But just like that, nobody was able to set up and help out the players on Nest, and Ninja's able to grab that Plasma Caster after being taking no shields almost twice in that situation. They really needed to capitalize capitalize on that and get that new weapon. Prevent Evil Geniuses from being able to grab it. That might actually be the game here, unless Shooter's able to clutch it here. And, oh, so close.
Perfect shots coming out from Victory. If Victory didn't land those perfect shots, he would have definitely fallen to Shooter. And there's Devin picking up that sniper again after going on that killing spree. Let's see if he's able to make a nice little run here. Only down 8. Camo's sitting pretty down there. He likes to not go for it. Instead makes his way around. I wonder if anybody picked that camo up or if it's still just sitting there. Let's go and take a look really quick to see if anyone's able to pick this one up. No one was able to pick that one up. So let's see here. Devin over there with the sniper rifle. Camo not on the map anymore. And yeah, EG, the time is in your favor, just like you're saying, Kyle. Only 2.5 minutes here. You don't need to give up any deaths at all.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought it had full ammo for a second, but it does have one shot left. All he needs to actually pick up that kill. Now, as soon as he drops his weapon and or dies, that shotgun's going to be respawning in 10 seconds. So curious to see what exactly Allegiance is going to do here. They need to start making some more moves. 8 kills in 2 minutes is still a lot to overcome.
I would send Contra. I know Contra just got hit by a nade, but I would send Contra to go pick up that shotgun because at this point, you're going to need a gun like that. I don't know why EG's even pushing. Yeah, Shooter got that kill, or Lunchbox got that kill with the Plasma Caster, but there's really no reason for them to push. Again, the time's on their side. They don't need to give up any deaths at all. Shooter got that backpack on that guy, but looks like they're not going to, let up at all. They're going to continue to play the game as they were the entire time, change up the pacing a little bit. So it is working in their favor, and it is 10 kills now, 11 kills to make up in a minute and a half. I just don't think that is actually mathematically possible now for the side of Allegiance unless something magical happens, but EG is just going to say no. They're going to collapse, and they're just going to charge because they can't lose, and that's exactly what they're doing. And this has been the Royberg show. Look at that. 14 kills and 10 assists as well. Yeah, Ninja has around the same amount of kills, but he only has 2 assists, and you can see Roy really wants this one.
And this game was so much closer than the score reflects. It all comes down to that betrayal of Falcated on the camo player. Like, they were absolutely bringing this one back, and I was really curious to see if they were going to cut that lead down, and they got it down within, like, what was it, 7 or 8 kills or so, something like that. But if they were able to do that a little bit earlier and not, the new shotgun just went over to Evil Genius's favor after Predominator dropped it. They weren't able to grab the sniper, but that Plasma Caster was absolutely the game changer, and they let Ninja get that after he was taking no shields and hid Nest 1.
Yeah, that's just a really unfortunate play, and there it is, 50-42. So that small little mishap there from Falcated. Falcated also went 7, 10, and 15. Yeah, a good amount of assists, but you never want to go double negative in a Slayer. You never want to kill your teammate that just picked up the camo as well. So small misplays though, but either way, you got to be feeling good if you're Allegiance, got to be feeling even better if you're Evil Geniuses. But Allegiance, I think that they played very well. They played better than I thought they would, in my opinion. And I think that it's big for them to walk away with the Strongholds games because I know that they're good Slayers. I thought it was pretty interesting that their communication was one of the things that I was worried about, but because they showed that they're good at rotations means that they're good at communicating, and that's a good sign for them. So they just need to focus on everything pretty much besides Strongholds. It's not that hard to make some minor changes in your Slayer games. I would say it's a lot. Not being able to win Strongholds games is a big problem for EG. They need to readdress those. Ogre 2 needs to help analyze what the problems were, make sure that nobody is playing too aggressive, make sure that you're choking the spawns at the same time, and just prioritizing things, and then EG should be fine.
And as you can see here, taking a look at some of those replays, just the amount of power weapons they were able to lock down and control it. 50-42 when it was... Allegiance was doing so many things right. They just were not able to fully capitalize on the position, and with such that small crucial mistakes, they needed to make some sort of a rotation when that shotgun was coming up, as it's just too powerful in these close quarters, especially on the rig. You can see it used so powerfully on Plaza, especially Slayer and Strongholds. Whenever anybody can grab that weapon, it can be impactful, and of course what we saw here in Rig, multiple kills being grabbed by that shotgun.
Well, we just saw the maps and the scores and things like that. That could have easily, not easily, but it could have been a 3-1 for Allegiance if they would have walked away with that CTF Truth. It could have been only Evil Geniuses winning 1 game, and it could have been 3-1 in Allegiance's favor. CTF Truth, it was 3-2 in favor of EG. that mishap where the guy, Ninja got that ninja return, and that was Shooter trying to get the ground pound in. He was able to get the ground pound in, but the flag was already returned. So just very, very small mistakes coming out from Allegiance, and it could have been a 3-1.
You're exactly correct. Or that game 5 could have just been completely different. Like, I can't even stress enough that, I mean, imagine Contra, a player that is fairly emotional, can definitely be emotionally driven as far as maybe frustration, things like that. When that happened after being down that many kills,
yes,
that's the time where you you tilt and you almost like, oh, well, that was our opportunity. That was our chance, and we blew it.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't hang my head too low if I was these guys. It was a fantastic series. They put on a great show. There's a lot for both teams to go back to the drawing board and take a look at, a lot of improvements to be made, but this is the type of Halo that I want to see played. I know it's the type of Halo that you guys want to see played at home too, and make sure that you guys stick around because this last series, this last match of the day, it's going to be probably the best match of the day.
I completely agree with you. This was the match I was most looking forward to, the one coming up next here, and we've got this new Team Liquid squad, which, I coached some of these players here for quite some time over the past, obviously done a lot with Spartan, and really excited to see how they're going to match up against this new powerhouse Envy squad. However, we do have an interview with the team from Evil Geniuses. We've got Ninja joining us here. Ninja, how are you doing? How do you feel after your very first?
That's not Ninja. That's the entire squad.
Oh, it's the whole squad. All righty.
Hey, wait a second. You guys, Tawi was filling in the entire time. Tawi, you were playing the whole time, or what?
Yeah. No, Cam's still back in Michigan.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, I mean, you guys lost the Strongholds games, and that's pretty interesting because I was actually thinking that was going to be what your strong suits were. A little bit of miscommunication there. There was times where you guys could have been watching bottom, middle, or the pit and elected to capture the side bases. I want to ask you a little bit about Ogre 2 and what he's bringing to the table. How much is he going to be able to help you guys out?
Dude, Tom has been incredible. After every single scrim, he's watching them. He's not in our Discord because our communication is already pretty hectic. We don't need another, analyst saying things. But he's always watching our scrims every single time, either from our point of view or theirs, whoever we're scrimming. And after every single game, he sends a text message out about what we're doing good and what we could be doing better, and just throughout the entire series. And then after, usually we join a Discord chat and just talk about things we can improve on. Tom's been incredible so far.
And this one's a little bit more towards Lunch and Roy here, but what's it like teaming again? You teamed with Victory X back in 08, San Diego. I know you were there together. What's it like rejoining forces with Victory X as well?
We're definitely very comfortable with Cam. He's got one of the funniest personalities of anybody I've ever met, so we're definitely having a lot of fun with this team. And I think that's very important and kind of helps you play better in-game when you can really, really get along with your teammates on that level outside of the game. So we're definitely very happy and lucky to have Cam on the team.
So let's talk about that a little bit because I think that you guys are coming in at a really good spot. Didn't make it into the playoffs, just fell out, top 4. Ninja was the team, Ninja's team Cloud9 was the team that ended up sneaking in there and taking that away from you guys. But you guys, out of everybody, have the most experience out of anybody playing Halo right now. You guys don't have a lot of pressure as well. There's a lot of teams, everyone's talking about Envy. Everybody's talking about the new Optic. Not a lot of people were talking about you, and everybody was talking about you guys after X Games, and there was so much freaking pressure on you guys. How are you guys feeling now compared to then?
I think experience is overrated to a certain extent. It comes down to really practicing and executing the things that you're talking about and going over in-game. Pressure is just something I think we've all, even Ninja has been going to tournaments for quite some time now. So it's just more so about consistent practice, really kind of focusing on certain things in practice, just playing games repetitively over and over, not really focusing on anything. It's tough to really improve when you're kind of just going through the motions of practicing. And we, with this new squad, have really been focused on specific things during each game. And we have, like you said, Ogre 2 and Tawi to kind of steer us in the right direction with things that they think we can improve on. And then obviously we each bounce ideas off of each other. So things have been going pretty well, and we're definitely just looking to improve and prove everybody wrong, because like you said, we're kind of flying under the radar, which is never a bad thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing, and that's what we're talking about is improvements, right? And frankly, we didn't see much improvements coming out from you guys last season, and it was unfortunate because we want to see you guys do really well. Everyone wants to see Evil Geniuses playing at a really high level. Is that something with this squad that you guys feel like is your main focus? Because there was a lot of excuses or distractions, or what do you want to call them, about being under practice. What are you guys doing to make sure that doesn't happen again this season?
I mean, we always put expectations on ourselves. I mean, I can speak for everyone on our team. We have a certain level of play that we just expect of ourselves, having competed for so long. And, you know, maybe some people said some things about last season, but we never, you know, attributed any of that to how we played. I mean, it was on us and nothing else. And we're taking the same, you know, approach to this season. I mean, everyone on our team is committed. Everyone on our team is focused on winning, and that's obviously the priority for all of us.
Awesome. Ninja, last question for you specifically. How comfortable are you right now? Because those pajamas look extremely comfortable.
Oh, dude, these are probably hands down the most comfy pajamas ever. They're like I can't even explain it.
The moose flannel.
The moose, man. It's really the key. It was the key for the last Rig Slayer game. So.
Now that looks like it could be an elk.
You guys
too.
can maybe see a few of the changes in the room as well, but there's quite a few new things in the Xfinity house yet to show everyone.
It's pretty awesome.
It's kind of ridiculous, everything that's been revamped in the house. So stay tuned for a video coming soon to release on all that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Towie getting some shameless promotion, and I like it, Towie. I like it.
All right. Well, Evil Geniuses, thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have
good luck,
any
guys.
one of you on here, yet alone almost the whole squad here. So congratulations on your first win and starting off strong to the fall season, and best of luck in your matches tomorrow as well.
Yep. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Take it easy.
Slowest NASCAR racer.
Oh, baby.
Is it true?
We'll see what happens this weekend.
Is it true?
It's not true at all.
Oh,
No, I'm
well.
just kidding. No, it was actually a whole lot of fun going out and doing that promo video. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It is for that new
I'm worried about your driving
NASCAR.
skills, Kyle, because you're out here living in LA, Ubering everywhere, you know?
Uber every day.
Yeah, so I'm just a little bit worried to see you in a race car.
I was, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I did get to mark that off the bucket list and take a few laps around the track.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'm happy to see, you know, EG feeling good about their team, you know, being a cohesive unit. That's what I want to see with all these teams. I want to see everybody, you know, living this brotherhood lifestyle. You know, it's like a tight-knit group. It's a tight-knit, you know, band. Everyone needs to be getting along for everybody to perform. So that's one of the strengths that these guys have. You know, as you can see, they have a very exciting place to practice in. The Xfinity area looked awesome. And then they have Towie, one of the best coaches, you know, in Halo. And then they have one of the best players of all time, you know, being an analyst. So like I said, they're flying under the radar. We heard Lethal give his top 4 positions. Power rankings, EG was not in there. I'm really curious to see how they're going to stack up against this other top-level competition.
Definitely a great question, and one we will see develop throughout this full season. Now, if you do like what you see and you want to actually participate and take your shot at joining into the HCS Pro League, you can always participate through going into the open circuit. Now, at the end of the season, the top 2 teams from the open circuit will be able to play and a chance in relegation to take the 7th and 8th spots from the Pro League teams. So make sure you head over to halo.gg for all the information there and follow up on how you can play from home and participate in the Pro League. Now, our next match, and the match I am most excited for here today, is going to be none other than Team Envious, the new powerhouse with former EG member Snipedown, going up against Team Liquid, the new revitalized team that's looking to make a big impact. And you heard it from Lethal as well. He puts these guys in the top 4. So we'll have that match coming up after a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.